Hey, this is Kent in Lufkin, Texas. This is my 1973 Cardinal RG retractable gear Cessna 177.
The 177 was built by Cessna from 1968 to 1978. There were over 4,000 of the aircraft built. In the 70s, they were selling for $27,000. You can pick one up now from $50,000 to $200,000. They were quite different from other Cessna designs of the time, with large entry doors and a sloping windshield to increase aerodynamics. In this video, we meet Kent, the owner, learn more about the airplane, and then take it up in the air.
I was a teenage kid in high school, just wanted to go fly, and I can confess this now, my mom didn't even know I was flying, and I would get off work at 16 years of age and come out to the airport and take a little lesson every now and then. Of course, you know how beauty shop talk is. She found out one day, she went to the beauty shop, she came home and says, "You taking flying lessons?" I said, "How'd you find out?" "I've been to the beauty shop today." So she heard about it, wasn't too happy with it, but I got my license anyway at the age of 16, and it was awesome because, you know, it was a girl magnet, and that's all you think about when you're a teenage kid. And so, yeah, my wife I'm married to now, took her on a date flying, you know, but got to age 16 and flew quite a bit, and then of course, you know, life gets in the way. You go on to college, and you get married, and you have kids, and so there was about a 20-year lag that I didn't fly at all. So I started flying again, got re-upped on my license, and bought a plane, a little 172, and flew it for quite a while. Really enjoyed it. Eventually got a 210. Cessna 210 and loved it, and then I bought a company here in town, and I upgraded to a Saratoga. So Saratoga was my third plane, and it was really a nice plane. It was one of my favorite planes, 300 horsepower, you know, low wing aircraft, and it could carry 6 people, and I would load it up, and we'd go places. Then I sold my company and had to downsize, so I've downsized to what I have now. I have a Cardinal, Cessna Cardinal, which, the truth be known, I've never flown a Cardinal, never even seen one. I was just doing research on what plane do I need to get to downsize. Semi-retired, and I was wanting to do something pretty efficient. And I did the research, and I ran across the Cardinal website, the CFO website, Cardinal Flyers. And there was a guy in there named Guy Myers, and I called him up and said, "Hey, Guy, tell me about a Cardinal." Well, a couple hours later, I knew more than I wanted to know about a Cardinal, because Guy knows his stuff. And ended up getting Guy to pre-buy a plane for me. He found me a plane. I ended up buying it. Took a one-way ticket to North Carolina to pick this plane up. Never seen a Cardinal, never flown a Cardinal. Spent about 3 or 4 hours with Guy Myers. Loved it every bit. So I've had a Cardinal for about 3 years, and I think it's the greatest plane Cessna's ever built for just a single-engine aircraft. It's got a lot of different features that came out. You know, this is my plane's a 73. I think Cardinal started building about 68, and they finished up about 77, 78, finished up. But during that time, Cessna really started looking at aerodynamics. So the Cardinal is really an aerodynamic plane. So they took the wings of a Cessna 210, and the Cardinal doesn't have any struts on it, so you got a clear view underneath the wing. And also, the kind I have now is a RG with retractable gear. So when you're flying, you have clear view of the ground. It's a high wing aircraft with no struts and no gear, and you're looking out the window. They used a lot of these planes for aerial photography back in the day. The windshield is slanted back. You know, the 172, 182, the windshields are almost straight up and down. That creates a lot of drag, but with the windshield slanted back, it kind of streamlines the aircraft. It also has a bigger tail on the back of the Cardinal, and not just the flaps on the tail, but the entire stabilizer tail moves. And that is a good and bad thing. The good thing is it flies, it's real sensitive on flying. The bad thing is when it first came out, students would crash the Cardinal because it was too much movement of the tail, and if your speed was too high, you would crow hop the plane, or you would jump up and crash. And so it was kind of had a lot of negative publicity back in the day, but that has since been corrected, and if you're a good enough pilot, you can control it. So what we have here on the 73, that came out with a 200 horsepower retractable gear, and it's a 4-cylinder aircraft, which means it doesn't have a lot of fuel burn. I've flown a 182. You know, it's a 6-cylinder, and it burns 10 or 12 gallons an hour. This 4-cylinder on the Cardinal is an IO 320, IO 360, and you know, I'm burning about 8 gallons an hour, between 7.5 and 8 gallons an hour on cruise. and cruising about 130 knots. When I first bought this plane, I was cruising about 110 or 120, and I kept reading on the Cardinal Flyers website. They're promoting a product called PowerFlow, and it's an exhaust system. It redoes the exhaust system. And I've installed the exhaust system, the PowerFlow exhaust system on this aircraft, and everything picked up. My climb rate picked up, my cruise speed picked up, my fuel efficiency went down. I was getting more fuel for the speed. So it was just amazing. Just changing your manifold and your exhaust system made a big difference on the exhaust system that was stock from the aircraft. Each of the 4 cylinders had their own exhaust tailpipe, and it would come into a common muffler and then a tailpipe. But each exhaust from each cylinder, the exhaust pipes were different lengths. So you had some that were long, some were short, some were medium. And the best I can explain it is that the exhaust came out of that cylinder, that puff came out. You'd have the other cylinder puffing behind it, puff, puff. But the length of the pipes, you would have a collision of these puffs as they come down the tailpipe, and it'd give some back pressure back into the cylinder. So you were losing power or not gaining. The PowerFlow people came up with designing a tailpipes or exhaust system that all the pipes were the same length going into a common tailpipe. So as each cylinder would puff, you'd have a cylinder puff here, and the puffs would line up and almost create a vacuum as they come out that exhaust. Instead of colliding in back pressure, it would create a vacuum, and it made the exhaust flow so much better. The engine runs so much better. It's a smoother running engine, and it just made sense. The other benefit I didn't tell you about was the big barn doors that I like about this plane. It's great because the big barn doors, you open them up and you get in and out of the back seat relatively easy. On 172, 182, it's really awkward. You got to climb over the seat. You're awkward. You got to work your way in and out. This is really comfortable to get in and out of, so it's a nice plane. Here at the airport, I was hanging out one day, and I was coming into the airport. Of course, it's non-towered, so we're out here calling on our positions, and I call out here. I'm 10 miles to the west, inbound Lufkin. And I heard a guy, well, I'm pipeline patrol. I'm 10 miles to the east, landing Lufkin. I was like, well, I'm 5 miles to the west, landing. Well, I'm 5 miles to the east. And I'm like, and we're coming to the same runway, and I'm like, well, you go ahead, pipeline. I'll follow you in there. And so we were, at 12 o'clock of each other. So he landed, and I just popped in right behind him. And so I got to visit with the guy. I said, what do you do? He said, I pipeline patrol. And I said, well, how long you been doing that? He said, I'm just learning. I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm like, you've been pipeline patrol for 20 years? Is something wrong with you? He says, it's a great job, Anyway, I ended up working for the guy, and worked for him for a good 3 years and loved it every day. It's like I got to go fly every day in somebody else's plane and burn somebody else's fuel, and I never get over 1,000 feet. So it's a great gig, and I loved it so much. It's a great privilege to be able to fly. And of course, part of our EAA program, we fly kids, and it's just a hey, y'all show up on this day, and we'll fly you around the pattern, give you a free flight, so to speak. And I always love it to get these little kids that are 10 or 12 or 13 years old, and they've never been in a plane before, and they get in a plane, and you talk about stuff, and they're just big-eyed. And the last flight I took on, I had a little brother and sister, and the mom says, you gonna take one and come back and get the other? I said, no, I'll take them both at the same time. So I put the girl in the back and the boy in the front. And as we were taking off, they were talking among themselves, laughing and carrying on, just having the best time. And of course, that's what it's all about. It's about the passion of flying. And I just really enjoyed that.
All right, well, thank you. I get you ready to go fly?
Absolutely, I'm always ready to go fly. What are you talking about? Of course.
So Kent pulled the airplane out, and we were ready to go.
Cold day.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. This is only a 4-cylinder engine.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, I still get a good speed, and the best thing is the fuel efficiency. I run about 8 gallons an hour and do about 130 knots. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, an airplane like this, the fuel efficiency is our car, like miles per gallon.
Yeah. Well, and then when you get a tailwind, life's good. But of course, you go uphill and you got to come down, so you get tailwinds and headwinds. But of course, the best thing about this Cardinal is this G4 Insight gives me all cylinders and how they're performing, and lets me know real quick if we got an issue with one of the cylinders.
I think that's pretty important to have on an airplane. Is a proper engine analyzer. mean, if you can know your cylinder head temperatures and your exhaust gas temperature, you could, number one, be a lot more efficient and a lot more safe.
Yeah, it's all efficient. And of course, you can, like I say, see if something, different is happening because you kind of have an idea of what numbers you're looking for on the cylinder. And of course, the best thing is this allows you to fly Lena peak. Right. And there's that always discussion about Richard peak, Lena peak, at peak, and this tells you where you are, your Lena peak. And I want to be between 20 and 50 degrees Lena peak, and that's the best fuel efficient. And so as you go to different altitudes, it allows you to make that adjustment, and the cylinders perform great in Lena peak. But you can't do it without this analyzer because it tells you exactly where you are.
Yeah, that's a big debate these days, and I think pretty much everybody has gone Lena peak. I mean, most people I talk to.
Yeah, and it's always been, don't do it unless you know what you're doing. And of course, you can't do it without the analyzer because you're just guessing, if anything.
Lufkin, Angelina County Airport. Automated weather observation 1843 Zulu. Wind 340 at 06. Visibility 10. Sky condition overcast 2,300. Temperature 08 Celsius. Dew point 02 Celsius. Altimeter 3019er.
Well, it's showing winds out of the north. We're going to take off runway 7 anyway, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, no problem. It's only, what, like 5 knots?
Yeah, 5 knots. And I like to stay in practice on my crosswind landings and takeoffs.
I was just saying that earlier. I think a crosswind landing, light winds are actually easier than, you can put it down softer anyway,
Yeah.
Just drop that tire, the upwind tire, and then boom.
Well, this plane is really, the Cardinal is really good because it's got the big wings and you can do a lot of crosswind maneuvers. As a matter of fact, when Guy Myers was training me, he says this is the only plane Cessna makes where you can do a skid with full flaps until you touch the numbers on the runway. You can slip it right in there because you can do it with full flaps. And Cessna doesn't allow any other aircraft, single engine aircraft, to do it except for the Cardinal because it has the big wings. And so you can drop a lot of altitude, just drop it right on the numbers at a slow speed as well. So we'll do our run up, check the mags. Hardly even drop at all. Mags are good. Sit here and look at our oil temp. I'm showing 91 degrees on oil temp, so I'm gonna sit here until I get about 100 or better.
Okay.
Normally it takes a little while, but by the time we taxi out here, but it's kind of cool outside. I'm showing 50 degrees outside, only outside temp, so let's give it a few minutes to get 100. And so as we take off, we'll pull the gear up, and then we'll give it a few seconds because another downside on the Cardinal is I think it has the longest time to retract gears.
Oh, is it?
It's longer than any other single engine retractable gear because you'll sit there a long time. So it's one of those things. Okay, you make sure you got enough altitude before you retract in case you have to come back down because it's going to take a long time for the gears to drop down as well. So all right, so we got temperature up. We're looking good. It looks set. We'll make the call. Lufkin, Angelina County traffic. Cardinal 177 Kilo Tango departing runway 7. Left turn out to the north. Angelina County.
Was it Angelina 350 at 6 knots, on center settings 3019.
3019ers. Thank you. All right, we'll line her up on runway 7. I usually taxi with my mixture out, but I always try to get, as I line up, mix is going in, props in, and we go in the prop with the throttle. So we're all good. You good?
I'm ready.
Door
Let's do it.
closed, seatbelts on.
Sure.
Rock and roll. Little crosswind takeoffs, always good. So we're up, gear coming up.
Yeah, it's nice you got that mirror. You can watch them.
Yeah. So as they're about tucked in, then I hit my flaps, bring my flaps up an extra 10 degrees. So.
Yeah. Oh, it did take a while to get those gear up.
Yeah. You need to time that because it's longer than most any other retractors. And we climb out about 80 or 90 knots, and we're doing 100. So I'm not even utilizing the full climb, but I'm climbing out at almost 800, 900 feet a minute. Anyway, it's just two of us. We can do that. So.
A big wing like this, it ought.
Yeah.
So what's the longest cross country you've done in this thing?
Oh, well, we just went to Oshkosh this past summer. Last
did
week
you?
in July, went to Oshkosh. Of course, You know, I think the plane would fly, but I've got to bladder about 2 or 3 hours, so you know, we got to kind of make a few pit stops and take care of that.
How is that flying your own airplane in there? Is it? I mean, you just park it and it doesn't move the rest of the time.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Oshkosh is really accommodating to go up there. You know, as far as the general aviation certified aircrafts and RVs and experimentals, and they really accommodate you really well and give you a place to park on the field. And they normally try to park you with other airplanes that's similar, so you can meet other people that have a similar type of aircraft.
You have to get slots and all that to come in, or how does that work?
No, you just call it as you come. I mean, they just kind of, you know, allow spots, and as you arrive, they park you. So there's not really any kind of reservations or anything. It's just like first come, first serve. All right, we're getting up about 1,800 feet, 1,200 feet. So I'm gonna kind of level off here and ease around a little bit, pull the power back.
Yeah, just kind of, you know, pull it to cruise power there or something to see how fast it'll go.
Yeah, if I were cruising, because I'm gonna kind of level off about 1,900 feet, because there's a cloud base there about 2,500. And I could kind of slow it down and slow everything down, and then start leaning the mix. Right now we're burning about 14 gallons an hour. And if I was on cruise, I could just keep pulling this mix out, you know, a little at a time, let it get time to settle, and then watch these temps. These temps are around 100 degrees, cylinder head temps, and it's pretty average. Lowest 276, highest 329, which is number 3 cylinder, which number 3 is, you know, is the back of the engine, which is the hottest one. So number 3 usually runs about 320 or 325. It's at 330 now, so we'll let it cool off here to cruise.
Have any interesting stories you can actually tell on video about the pipeline stuff?
Oh, pipeline is a blast. I really love it. It's just, I mean, you get to fly low and slow, and you know, along the pipelines there are stations, pumping stations, and each one of those pumping stations has an antenna, and those antennas are usually 1,000 feet or more. And sometimes you get in there, well, a lot of times you come into a station, and I'm sitting here with my nose against the window looking down, and I'm like, okay, there's a pump station coming up here pretty quick, and I look up and there's an antenna straight ahead. And of course my instructor says, you know, you're going to be flying around a lot of antennas that are taller than you are. He said, but it's not the antenna that's going to kill you.
Guide wire.
It's the guide wires that are going to kill you. And so, you know, you find that antenna, and we fly pretty close to them, and you got to pay attention to where the guide wires and where they are in relation to the antenna. So it is your head is on a swivel the whole time you're pipeline, which makes you, I think, a much better pilot, because you're multitasking at its greatest, and it's just a thrill. I'm sitting up there talking on the phone to pipeline people. You know, I'm on the radio talking to control. You know, I go into Houston airspace. I go into controlled airspace every day, whether it's Houston or Beaumont or Longview. So you got to have good radio skills, especially with Houston, because they're boom, boom, boom. They it's in and out real quick. And I go into Houston, I call them up, and we have assigned routes. And so I call them up and say, hey, this pipeline, I'm 10 miles out here on Bravo route. And they'll acknowledge me, and of course they want to confirm your altitude. And they say altitude, and I said, well, I'm 800. Okay, pipeline, stay at or below current altitude, you're cleared into class Bravo. I'm like, at or below 800 into class Bravo.
Yeah,
how thrilling is that, you know? So, and then they'll call you up, you're running your Bravo route, and they say, hey, pipeline, you got helicopter at 300 feet. So maintain your altitude at 800 or wherever you're at. So it's like, man, you got to be good, because there's towers, there's other aircrafts, you're inside class Bravo with the big boys, and it's just a thrill.
But you got to know your airspace and all that. I mean, because it's, you know, 500 feet in a rural area, but 1,000 feet, you know, got to know all the legal stuff there. And
absolutely, and they don't mind scolding you either.
It's definitely a comfortable airplane. It's nice, and I mean, it's a control room and everything.
This is comfortable. It's the reason I really liked it. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3", and I'm comfortable up here in the front seat. You know, I've got plenty of leg room. And then if somebody's in the back, they've got plenty of leg room in the back as well.
Yeah, that is a lot of leg
room.
You
know, I normally, you know, have 3 little kids back there, and they do real well in the aircraft. My wife's with me. She'll sit in the back to herself and read her book and have a good time. I'm semi-retired, so I don't have a steady job, but we do like to travel and go places. We'll go up to Branson and spend the weekend, and it's a nice little traveling plane for, you know, the wife and the kids. So, or grandkids. My kids are grown, but they fly with me as well, and so it's a win-win. You know, the reason I bought it was it had just gone through a prop strike, and they replaced the engine in a brand new prop. And you know, when Guy Myers did the inspection, he went through it. He said, well, all the hydraulic hoses need to be replaced. So he said, if you'll buy the plane, they'll replace all the hydraulic motor and the hydraulic hoses for the landing gear. And so I'm thinking, okay, I got a brand new engine with 100 hours. I got a brand new prop with 100 hours. I got brand new landing gear and hydraulic hoses in the plane. I'm like, the rest is cosmetic, you know, interior and exterior. And so I said, well, I'll buy the plane because I can paint it and I can clean it up and I can do whatever I need to do.
Mechanically and sound, it's not going to cost you a ton, yeah.
Yeah, so I got a new engine, new prop, new landing gear, and other than that, you know, it's a great plane.
Yeah.
So we're on downwind for 3-4, so I'm gonna call in. Lufkin engine, county traffic, Cardinal 177 Kilo Tango, downwind 3-4, Lufkin.
Lufkin traffic, Cessna 531, Charlie Papa is going to enter downwind for 3-4, looking for the Cardinal.
Oh, Lufkin engine, county traffic, Cardinal 7 Kilo Tango is turning left base for 3-4, full stop, and Salina County. All right, we got a gear down, we got a green light on the gear down, and you look in the mirror over there, and I can see a wheel over there, and I look over here and see it, so I think we got good gear. And now the secret on Cardinal, you do have to slow it down.
3-4 with the traffic in front of us in sight, will be number 2.
You do have to slow the plane down, and you actually won't touch down below 80 miles an hour because it will crow hop, you know, and not get a good landing. So it's all about the speed on Cardinals, and that's kind of the big difference between Cardinals and 172s and 182. You know, 172s and 182, you can just shut the power and it'll stall and land, but a Cardinal won't. It just keeps on flying. So we're coming in pretty high, so this is a great thing. You can have full flaps, still slip it in, and drop some altitude pretty quick, and just go right on in. Speed coming down, now I've got red over white, and I just line it up, set her down. All right, gear down, green light, lights, flaps, gear, mix in, prop going in, red over green. We're all good. Full flaps, full power. I always like to touch down one wheel first to the other. It's kind of a pipeline deal. Can I still do this?
No, it's
So I always purposely put down the right wheel, left wheel.
well done. Thank you, sir.
And Lufkin traffic, Cardinal 7 Kilo Tango is turning on taxiway Foxtrot, Lufkin.
Well, Kent, thank you, sir. It's a pleasure being able to fly with you.
Well, Bobby, it's great taking you up. I'm glad we made it back on the ground safe as always.
As always.
We can go fly again another day.
Yeah, let's go have some lunch now.
Good deal. Time to eat.
Yeah.
See you.
Well, thanks for watching another episode of Flying Doodles. Please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're bringing you new content, new airplanes every week. So thanks so much. Patreon.com/flyingdoodles. That's how we kind of fund this whole thing. And the link below, email me if you want me to come fly your airplane.